Welcome to Inside the Play Call with Orange Arrow, and I'm your host, Sean Robinson. And today we have a very, very special guest. Actually, for the first time, the second feature on the podcast, my guy, Rafael Araujo-Lopes. What up, Ra? How are you?
Man, what's up, Sean? What's up, Sean?
It's good to
Good,
see you,
man.
man.
Hey, thanks for having me again. You know,
Man,
it's
thanks.
all love with Orange Arrow. It's all love with you, man.
You already know, man. So it's back in season 1. We were talking about that before we got started here via Zoom with the recording. And there's a reason why I said Zoom, because I'm about to ask you a question here shortly. But we were recording back in the office in the Cathedral Learning. I think you were still a student athlete at Pitt then.
Yeah. I think I was just finishing up.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the reason I said Zoom, because, on Zoom, you're able to have your name shown. Do you see my name?
I do see it.
You're trying to be funny. Yeah. So what's my name, Boston? How do you feel about that?
The better number 7 and golfer.
Let's go.
So, it's not good to lie, Sean. It's not good.
Hey, we're gonna get into it. But as a former athlete, you understand the importance of warming up and stretching, right?
Yep.
Here we go, boss. First question. If you're going to listen to one musical artist for 30 days straight, their entire catalog, who are you selecting?
I'm gonna go Bob Marley.
Ooh.
It just mellows me out. It's actually an artist that I listen to at like when I'm driving for work and stuff. And I know we'll probably get into work, but it just kind of relaxes you. Throw the One Love on, Three Little Birds, and it's timeless. It's timeless. So I'll go Bob Marley.
I dig that. That's a great selection. Surprising. I wouldn't expect that, but that's really strong. Really strong. Really strong. Really strong, dog. I thought you would have said somebody like more of a newer artist, more recent artist, but you took it back a little bit because Bob Marley's a little bit before your time, but somebody put you on though. That's super dope. No shade, dog. Not yet. hey, boss, if you had to be on a reality show, what show would you be on?
I don't know if you've seen the new show or the original, the Squid Games.
Oh, yeah.
But they came out with a reality version of it where people from all over the world went on to be a part of it.
Yes.
And I think I would love to do that. I mean, for those of you who are not you're not familiar with it, or are you familiar with the Squid Game?
Yes.
So I mean, for that type of money, and you got to have a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill, a little bit of brainstorming, a little teamwork, a little selfishness, putting yourself to the test. I think that would be super fun to be a part of. So
that is super dope. So I'm very familiar with the show, the game, the competition. I have not seen an episode, but I have to make it a priority because one of our former board members was a participant on this most recent one on Netflix. Yeah. Chad Van Horn. He was number 286. I'm showing you a picture now. I don't know how far. Yeah.
Hold on, you know him?
That's my guy. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's like one of the best on there.
Seriously?
I was heartbroken when he lost.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
That's my guy right there.
Yeah, man, Chad's my dude, man. So we're in
that's crazy.
Yeah, former board member. We got connected through he's actually from the Pittsburgh area. He went to Robert Morris. And so that's my guy, man.
You gotta watch it, Sean.
Yeah, I have to watch it. I've been seeing him post about it. He's an attorney in South Florida. Man, super cool guy, great guy. Truly has a heart for the community. And I've been seeing that he was progressing, but I heard he didn't win. But I'm gonna make it a point to make sure I check it out.
Yeah, you got to check it out. No, he's an important character for sure.
Super dope. And so the last question, and shoot, it may tie in. What is your favorite TV show of all time?
I held off watching the Game of Thrones for a long time, and I watched it. It's tough. It's between The Game of Thrones and The Last Kingdom. Have you seen either of those?
Maybe 2 episodes of the Game of Thrones. My wife, huge fan. I
Yeah.
tapped out. It was doing too much for me. I tapped
Yeah,
out.
well, so what I say about those, and I almost want to lean towards The Last Kingdom. Both have a great storyline. It kind of goes back, like, I don't, it's not medieval times, but it's like heathens and the church, and there's like kingdoms, and there's like all different love affairs and different things. And then the fighting scenes in The Last Kingdom would probably give me the edge. I mean, the show is amazing. This guy named Uhtred, uh, he's just like he's just a beast, and it's an amazing show.
The Last
They just
Kingdom
came out
is
with a movie too.
okay. When was it released around? Like in the last 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, last 5 years.
Okay.
Last 5 years.
I
So
haven't
I'll
heard
probably
about
go
it.
The
I gotta
Last
check it out.
Kingdom. Also, I cried a good bit watching it, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Not like
Would you why you say or not? I totally believe it.
Oh man, don't do that. Don't do that. I got too warped in and just the relationships and the affairs and stuff like that, man. I got out of character.
I gotta check it out. No, I don't know if that's out of character. No. You talking about or not, man? It's very believable. I definitely believe it.
All right, relax, man.
So, Ra, take us back. Early beginnings, childhood, family, introduction to sports. Where you from, boss?
Yeah, so I was born in Connecticut. When I was 1, moved down to Florida. So my whole childhood was pretty much in Orlando. Kissimmee, Florida is actually the city I grew up in, about 20 minutes from Disney.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, you can't say Kissimmee and not say Disney. No one would know Kissimmee if it was not for Disney.
A lot of people are familiar with Disney, so basically right down that way.
I'm gonna pause right there. So, are you over Disney World?
You know, I've been away for a while, so I wouldn't mind going back. But definitely when I lived there, it was overplayed. But I'm not going to complain too much about it because it's actually pretty cool to have the access to it. And at the time when I was younger, you would actually get a pretty good discount and deal to go to Disney, being a Florida resident. So it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was pretty cool, especially being a child, being able to go. So I wouldn't say so.
Did you have a favorite park? Epcot, Magic Kingdom?
Growing up, it was Animal Kingdom. I personally think that's the best park. A lot of people, rave about the Magic Kingdom and the big castle, but I think Animal Kingdom is super, super cool.
Super random question. So if you had to work at Disney World, you had to be one of the characters. You had to wear one of the mascot uniforms. Which one would you dress up as, dog? Yeah, it's a summer job, man. You're going into your sophomore year in high school.
Just give me Mickey.
Mickey, why not, dog? That's the goal.
Yeah, just give me Mickey. I want to be the top dog. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big. Take me down on the parade.
Yep.
Everybody wants to see Mickey, so I'll do Mickey.
That's true, and you a good height for that too, so that makes sense.
All right, here we go.
Hey, go back, continue, man. Family.
Yeah. So I grew up, mom and dad, different households. And I grew up with 2 of my brothers, Nathan and Gabriel. As far as playing sports, I played t-ball and soccer when I was really young. Even ran track for like a couple weeks, but nothing really stuck. And I played football when I was 7. Boy, it was tough. I was playing center. I was getting bull rushed every play. And then they put me at running back, and I did absolutely terrible. And I wanted to quit. I told my mom I didn't want to play anymore. And then the second season was coming around, and my mom was like, "Go out there and go try it again. Just give it one more shot." And then I had like an amazing season. It was super fun. Had a whole bunch of touchdowns, and then it was no looking back. So that's kind of like the beginning of football. I will say, just to reflect on it a little bit, I think my first year, my coaches, uh, I would say, weren't that good. And why I say that, I think it was a lot of favoritism. Like, I wasn't good, but I think as far as like developing, even at that young age, is super important, and how an experience can really change the trajectory of an athlete's career. And then my second year, and I think I had some amazing coaches that really like tried to develop, and so I wonder, how much of that played a role. So
That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, I was second guessing your coaches when you said you played center. Unless you were the same size then that you are now, then that makes sense. You were bigger than all
no,
the kids,
I was small. They had to put me on the field. They just
right?
couldn't. There was favoritism at who was getting the ball. So
Yeah, I actually struggled a little bit playing football early as well, about the same age. About the same age.
yeah.
I was not a star. I was fast. I didn't know what I was doing. I remember one play that like I think a family member was friends with the coach, so they had to put me in the game. Like, dang, let them play. And one of my friends, he scored the touchdown, had to be like a 62-yard touchdown, but it was called back because I was like, I think I blocked a couple people in the back or something like that. I don't know what I was doing, but they were so mad at me. Yeah, man. I was like, man, I ain't doing this thing, but I'm thankfully, I was encouraged to continue to play. And like you said, man, the rest is history.
Yeah. No, for sure. I'm pretty sure I only had like a 5-yard run my first year playing football. That was the longest run I had. No, I had a 30-yard run. It got called back.
What
That was
athletes
it.
did you look up to when you were younger?
Probably LaDainian Tomlinson.
Hmm.
If I had to pick one right out the gate. Now, as I got older, obviously there's tons of football players. Probably right out the gate, like a LaDainian Tomlinson. He was like versatile, can catch, stiff arm, even though my stiff arm wasn't ever that good. And then, I mean, I think, I was still, I mean, how young? Because childhood, that definitely Danny Thompson. I'll tell you who I used to look up to a lot. Was the Florida Gators when they had
Oh,
Urban Meyer, they
okay.
had the Chris Rainey's and the Percy Harvins. In fact, I
Yeah.
would probably say that I looked more up to like college than I did the NFL. The Reggie Bushes of
Yeah.
the
Ooh,
world,
yeah.
like Reggie Bush. I mean,
Yeah, he was that guy. Yeah,
I was
totally.
a bad man on the field.
Yeah, it was like a
So
video game. It was incredible.
yeah. So I would say probably those individuals were kind of like the focal point of my like aspirations, being a running back,
So
not looking up
how
to receivers.
I'm switching sports because I'm thinking of, I'm not sure the timing of the Orlando Magic. Were they good when you were growing up? Was Shaq and Penny still there, or was that be a little bit before your time?
No, well, to be honest, off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I know that when I started watching basketball, Shaq was not there.
Okay.
It was the Dwight Howard era. It
Got
was
you. Okay,
it was
okay.
Hedo
Superman.
Turkoglu, Jameer Nelson,
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Ray for Austin, Skip to My Lou.
Got you.
So
Yeah.
that was
Okay. Yeah.
that was the squad. So the JJ Redick a little bit, but yeah, I would say Dwight. That was the Dwight era.
That
Which
is
I'm
right. I remember
surprised he
now.
wasn't in the top 75. And I know there's some off the field stuff going on, but I mean the guy was dominant
No, he
for a minute.
definitely was. He
So
was elite. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense because shoot, when I was younger, it was Shaq and Penny. So that makes sense. It was Dwight for you.
yeah.
Dig that, dig that, dig that. And so fast forward, man. Talk about your success on the field there in high school.
Yeah, so I actually moved uh about 45 minutes away to an area called Winter Park. The reason for is literally to have a better opportunity. I know I was talking with my dad. We didn't think that in Kissimmee I was gonna have the best opportunity to maybe give myself a chance to be a Division One football player. So I went to Winter Park High School. Um, I was involved in football, track, even did a little weightlifting, um, and it was an awesome experience. I mean, out the gate, I uh, I played junior varsity, and then going into my sophomore year, I was playing varsity. I was a starter, and then I tore my ACL. Now, in this time, I was doing really well in summer. We do tons of like different camps, and I'm meeting coaches for the first time, and so everything's kind of, moving in the right direction. Boom, tear my ACL, and that really set me back. I missed my sophomore year, came back my junior year, but it was still like that rehab season. I had a brace on. I wasn't like explosive like I wanted to be. I still played, but it was a tough year. But I think transitioning to my senior year after having a year under my belt, then running track, helping get my cycle and my gait back. I had I would say a stellar senior year. A team that was projected to win 3-4 games. We ended up going to like the second round of the playoffs. And I balled out. So I did really well, and it was an awesome experience.
To say the least, you balled out recently, man. You were inducted into the your high school's Hall of Fame, correct?
I was.
Man, tell me about that experience and that process, man. How did you find out? And yeah, speak about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think it's layered, right? So, from a athletic performance perspective, I made an impact at Winter Park, but I think also from a camaraderie and leaving a legacy, off the field. But when I say off the field, like leaking into other sports. So I coined this term OTP. It literally just stands for Only the Park. But at the time, we were actually having some racial tension. So this was during the time where I think there was the first election that Obama had to go through, and I think it was between Mitt Romney and the high school I go to. Not to be long-winded here, but the high school I go to, it's in a predominantly white area, but there's a lot of black kids that come in from outside Winter Park, and so there was a lot of racial tension. Anyways, there was a lot of segregation that was happening within my football team the junior year. So going into senior year, I wanted to create something that brought us together, that made us feel unified. And so I coined this term OTP, which meant Only the Park, and it was Only the Park wins. And like any single time it was like a war cry, or like we were losing or we were working out or whatever it was like OTP, like us over everything. And fast forward 10 years down the line, a 17-year-old making this term is now on the yearbooks, on the uniforms. People are chanting it at water polo and volleyball matches and the state championship basketball games. And it's crazy to see how people gravitated towards it and felt unified towards it. And I think that's why it's still around today. And so, it was part of my performance on the field and my impact. We ran track, went to states and stuff. But I think that also the OTP and what it meant to Winter Park High School is, another reason why, they elected me to be in the Hall of Fame.
Wow, that's amazing. I was not aware of that story, and I'm not surprised by that, man. Like, you talk about salt of the earth, man. Like, you talk about embody what it means to be more than an athlete. Like, I applaud you for that, and that's awesome. That is still been lasting, a decade later. Where does that desire to help others, bring people together, like, where does that come from, man? Because I mean, it's truly in you.
I mean, I can't think of a definitive moment in time when someone taught me, hey, this is how you got to be, this is what you got to do. But what I do know is we're sponges at a young age. And, we pick a lot of things up from our parents. And my mom and my dad, I think this was a part of who they were from a personal standpoint, giving back to family, wanting to be involved in different things. My dad now, and this is how he's always been. My dad gives a lot back. He lives in Connecticut. He gives back to the community a lot. Does tons of things over the winter, turkey giveaways, and so that type of personality and that type of who you are, I think just kind of it just trickled down to me, and just wanting to have an impact and wanting to give back and wanting to connect. So I can't tell you that there's a definitive moment in time where it was taught to me. but I imagine that this is a part of who my mother and my father are.
Yeah.
And it just trickled down to me and who I became.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I totally agree with being a sponge, especially at that young age. Knowing you, I would like to know this. How much does faith play a role in that, in your beliefs?
It plays a big role. I would say my faith became more important actually when I left high school and I went to my freshman year in college. Um, I didn't really know, who God was. I knew of God, went to church sparingly. But I would say my faith plays a big role. It gives me purpose. It gives me reason. When you read the Bible and you listen to, how Jesus is and was, and trying to embody that, we can never be that.
Yeah.
But I think, any time and any chance, any opportunity you have to try to embody selflessness, patience, I try to take advantage of that. So yeah, my faith it plays a big role in that for sure.
That makes sense. I don't think I've ever mentioned this on a podcast, but growing up, man, many people thought that I would go into ministry. They should call me Reverend, Pastor, or Bishop, joking like he's gonna be in the ministry. And I truly believe that Orange Arrow is my ministry. So it's not underneath, the typical, church. But this is as you mentioned, purpose. It's purpose driven. And this is my ministry. This is my opportunity to show God's light and love through the work of this organization, and then the interactions and the connection with folks, and also being thoughtful of young people, like you said, being sponges, and so being intentional about bringing people together and showing love and kindness and laughter and joy and being vulnerable, man. So yeah, I mean, I totally identify with what you're saying, picking up and putting down, definitely. Yeah. So fast forward, and boss, you went to Pitt. In the first podcast, we talked more about the full picture, going to JUCO, getting a scholarship to Pitt, and some of your highlights there. What I don't remember, though, is how did you find out about OA? Now, I know you became an intern, but do you remember who told you about OA?
Yeah. So, Sean, I found out about OA. Pitt they have their athletes do volunteering events and opportunities.
Coming back now. Yes, I remember now. Yes, yep.
And so the receiver group had to do a volunteering opportunity. It might have been at a Boys and Girls Club.
It definitely was, yes.
And we went in there, and Orange Arrow was, I guess, hosting it. We were working with the kids there, and we had to show the kids how to tie a tie. And lo and behold, I didn't know how to tie a tie.
Yeah.
And that was the first day I learned how to tie a tie. Before I had to teach the young student athletes how to tie a tie. So that was my introduction to Orange Arrow. That was the first day I met you. And the rest is history.
Yes, I mean, to say the least, dog. I mean, we talked about this right before we got on, man. Like OA family for life, man. We have created a a brotherhood, man. Like dog, we're connected forever, man. And so I'm glad that our path has crossed, man. It was destined, man. It's been awesome, man, to see our friendship and our grow over the years, man. People probably can hear now, but the banter, like, we're always going back and forth. So even when you made the post about making the Hall of Fame, I reached out to you. Thankfully, they taking consideration your golf game. You know what I mean? Because they were like, OTP, like, I ain't worried about OTP, you better get out of here. You know what I mean? But that's just the type of relationship we have, man, and I truly appreciative of it, man.
And I'm grateful for it too, Sean. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So speaking of golf, man, I saw you recently in Arizona, man. Did I saw you had your clubs. Did you play?
I did.
How you shoot them?
I shot them.
Okay. A lot, right? How was the course?
The course was amazing. The course was beautiful, and it's the nice backdrop of the mountains in Arizona. I mean, I was nice off the tee box, but my chipping is just awful.
Yeah, but I mean, you live in PA, man, so it's cold. You don't get the opportunity to get out as much as if you were in Florida to really practice game, or even if you were in Arizona, man. That really plays a role though in the development of one's golf game.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to start investing in golf more. Like maybe get a lesson or two. Like I told myself I wasn't gonna get any lessons until I played it for a few years. Just to kind of like, when you start getting lessons, they start talking to you and you're new to the game, it could be overwhelming. I'm sure it's still gonna be somewhat overwhelming, but I wanted to get a couple years under my belt. So I think I'm gonna start investing so I can really actually get good, or at least try to get good, and learn what I'm actually doing, because I'm just out there just trying to be an athlete.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been playing longer than you, and I still have so many things going through my head when I'm over the ball. Depending on what club it is, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, and as you know, being an athlete playing ball, man, if you're thinking too much, like that's a recipe for disaster. And so
Exactly.
you just want to get out there and just be able to play and go. And so shout out to my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law in love. They gave me a gift card to a local golf course that I attend, and I'm gonna take some golf lessons, man. So shout out
Hey,
to them, man. So I'm about
dang.
to be a problem. So I already beat you anyway
Not gonna be a
by
problem.
10 to 15 strokes. So that should increase to about 2025. Hey, we playing in the spring, man. So we gotta make it
Yeah,
happen.
we are.
We'll
Yeah,
make it
we are.
happen, man. So talk about what are you doing now, man?
So now I work for a company called Stryker. So I sell surgical solutions in sports medicine. So when you think about sports medicine, we're talking about ACL reconstructions, rotator cuff tears, Achilles tears, labral tears in the hip, in the shoulder. So anything soft tissue in the body. It's in the space of orthopedics. It's funny actually. I pursued this role, and you see sports medicine, you think I'm an athlete. Oh, all you're gonna work with is athletes. These college athletes, high school athletes, and it's very much the opposite. You actually spend more time working with people that are like 40, 50 plus, that are just the tissue is just becoming degenerative over time, but they're not necessarily ready to get a replacement. You can repair the tissue. So and then we still work with the athletes, the younger athletes and stuff, but it's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. How has it been in the operating room?
It's
Was
fun.
that an adjustment? It's fun. Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. When you're thinking about going in the operating room, you're oh man, you're gonna see blood, or it's gonna be crazy. It's been fun. In the role, you're very important and integral and important piece to what's happening in the OR. We're sometimes teaching surgeons, nurses, scrub techs. We're setting things up. So you're playing a role, and ultimately it's for the patient, right? If you don't do your job, the patient can get what they need. And so it's been great. Sometimes it's more, I would say, hectic, depending on what's going on or if something goes wrong, but it's been super fun for sure.
That's awesome. Do y'all have to have some type of huddle up before a procedure? Like, how do y'all prep? How do y'all get to know each other? And typically, how many people are usually part of a procedure?
So really, it's not something formal like that going into each procedure. Typically the surgeons and the nurses know each other, and the PA, who's like the surgeon assistant for the case, they typically know each other, and then the rep is just kind of coming in and filling in, introduce yourself. Like, it's very informal in that sense. Before a surgery starts, though, there's always a timeout. So after all the things are moving, there's a timeout. Everybody has to stop what they're doing, and we have to listen to the information, patient, the procedure, and then like anesthesia has to agree that they got these certain drugs or whatever, antibiotics. So I would say that's probably the most like structured thing that we do. But like, as a rep, you come into the room, let's say you're going to a massive hospital that has a lot of turnover with nurses. You introduce yourself. Hey, hey, how you doing, Susie? My name is Rafael. I'm a Striker. I support Dr. Such and Such. I'm going to be here to help you set up and make sure that everything goes smooth today. Bang. And then we just roll right into it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how long have you been with Striker now?
Since December 2021, so it's about a
Okay.
little over 2 years now.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah, so I started off as an associate. I didn't have any sales experience, so that's typically the best way to just kind of get your feet on the ground, and start running around and trying to learn the business. And then I became a sales representative. So I've been a full on sales rep for about a year and like 3 months.
Talk about all the pit people that are within Striker. I feel like you talk about a pipeline. It's actually a really good look. Talk about how that feels, and yeah. Shout a couple people
Well,
out.
you know what? Well, what I'll say first is I think that is a testament to the University of Pittsburgh. For you to have, so many people from a university within Stryker, and Stryker being one of the top medical device companies, I think that's a testament to the type of character and the type of people that the University of Pittsburgh is developing. And especially a lot of them being athletes, that's a testament to the programming that's in place at the University of Pittsburgh. So, shout out to Pitt, because they're doing a great job with their student athletes. And it's actually great. It's almost like a fraternity.
Yeah.
You go into you can go into some space or some different business unit or some different hospital. Oh yeah, I went to Pitt. Actually, I don't know if you know him. I just met a gentleman. He works for endoscopy. Oh, Derek?
Turner.
Yes.
I don't personally know. Maybe we might have met once, but he was a receiver.
So that's just a great example. I just met him. I played receiver. He played receiver. We're at our national sales meeting in Arizona. I'm like, how you doing? Rafael, he says, oh, Derek, oh, you played at Pitt? I played at Pitt. And it just like,
Yeah.
it's just, and it's just all love.
There's
There's an appreciation there. And obviously it's a network. We're going to look out for each other. We're going to, keep each other accountable, make sure we handle our business, and, we're going to look out for each other. So it's been great seeing how deep Pitt is rooted in Stryker.
Yeah, that's super dope. And take you back to Pitt, man. I'm gonna throw some names out there, and I want you to react. What comes to mind? You talk about development. You talk about Pitt. Penny Samaya. What comes to mind when you think about Penny?
Man, it almost makes you get choked up thinking about Penny because of his impact. And that word has got to be in all caps. Impact. I mean, from my official visit, the most impactful piece to my official visit, Penny, to day in, day out. I mean, it could be something structured in a question, that I would have to go into his room and ask him. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm just down and I just need, just a boost. And I just go in there and just sit down. Say, what's up, Penny? What's up, rah-rah? And it's just like, it was just an energy, and I'm just so appreciative of Penny and just his guidance. He's a big part of my experience at Pitt for sure.
Super dope. Super dope. Our guy, Dylan, man. Dylan, what comes to mind? Dylan was a student athlete, young student athlete with OA. You were his coach / mentor. What comes to mind when you think of our guy Dylan?
And Dylan, I'm so proud of Dylan, and that was a beautiful thing. Not to go off on a tangent, but that was a beautiful thing of being a part of Orange Arrow. Because I got to meet Dylan in the beginning of Orange, in the beginning, I think, of the summer invitational, and also as a flag football coach.
Shout out to Chris Kerr, Pittsburgh Flag Football League. Let's go.
And to see him grow up and to keep that relationship, and to see what he's become, and how smart he is and the way he wants to be involved in different things, and to be able to still have a relationship and see that impact. I mean, Dylan's awesome. I mean, him and his family. Totally. I mean, they have been great. I love Dylan. I have genuine love for Dylan. I don't know if you noticed, but Dylan made a jersey and wore it to my games in college. And we got a picture somewhere. I got to find a picture. Yeah, like.
I did. I think you got to send it to me. I didn't know that was. He made a jersey. Wow.
He made a jersey and was showing love at the game. And
yeah,
it's funny because I'm the elder, but I've always felt the support from Dylan.
Yeah.
And and I'm not even playing ball anymore, and it's just like, I'm appreciative of that. And I hope that it's reciprocated and he feels the same way for me. So
yeah, we gotta
definitely have a great relationship.
I'm gonna get Dylan on the podcast. Yeah, he's gonna be one of the upcoming guests, and I'll ask him similar questions.
And I'm gonna throw one more thing in here. He actually, talking about Dylan, he actually just hit me up yesterday, and he brought up how Josh Allen was a part of the performance invitational in the summer.
Yep.
And he was saying how awesome that was. And now that Josh is like his second favorite or his first favorite player outside of anybody in the Steelers. He say he loves to watch him. So it just shows like just from that little, that little moment and that a little experience for him, like it was impactful, even to today.
That's super dope. So go ahead and speak to that. The connection between you and Josh Allen, because you were the person that got us set the opportunity up where he surprised the kids virtually. It was during the pandemic and spoke to about being more than athletes. So how do you know Josh?
Yeah, good old Josh. So we played football together in junior college. He was my quarterback. Back in 2014, I just finished in high school, went to junior college. You got two guys, don't have any scholarships. They're, fully qualified, just looking to go play Division I football. And, I think the competitive aspect and nature of us, I guess nurtured a friendship and a relationship that lasted so long, till to today. But, we were competitors and we wanted to win and we had dreams, and we would go play on Saturday, and then Sunday we're turning around and we're sending out thousands of emails trying to get schools to look at us. And I think just that bonding time we had, I mean, I would like stay over his house, and I didn't have any money, and I don't know, it was a pivotal time in both of our lives, and we got to experience that together. And that's something that no one can take. And so, it was a great time. And, he went to Wyoming, I went to Pitt, and, he's now a quarterback in the NFL, and I'm super, super happy for him.
How does it feel when you see all the success that he's been able to achieve and experience? How does that feel for you as somebody who knew him back when?
I'm almost proud. It's like almost like not as a parent, but just proud as a friend. Because I saw the beginning and I know how much he's worked. A lot of people, they see people that are successful and they don't know the backstory. They don't know the days and the hours where, someone was just locked in, chipping away. You just kind of see the final product. But, I'm just proud of the guy. I know how much he's put into it. I know how much he cares and how much he loves competing. And I'm proud of him. From a personal standpoint, I went to his house last year in Buffalo, and I'm just looking around, and it was just this proudness, like, dude, you built this, man. You did this from the ground up, and I'm proud of you. So, it's definitely proud.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One more name, your brother, and if it were not for him, OA would not have been in partnership with the University of Miami. Trent Harris. What comes to mind when you think of Trent?
Man, blood wouldn't make us any closer. Trent's been my boy from the beginning. When I first went to Winter Park, I mean, we instantly bonded. We were both freshmen, and we were going to go to the varsity game. We stopped by his house, and we eat like 10 hot dogs. And we're just sitting there, just, chopping it up. And he didn't even know me, inviting me to his house. From the beginning, Trent has been such a good friend of mine, keeping me accountable, pushing me, and, me doing the same for him. And it's just been awesome to see how life can turn out when you have the right people around you. I think Trent is one of those guys. We're very alike. We're both competitors. I mean, we'll compete at anything. I mean, anything. You name it, we're competing.
Yeah. Not very well in golf, though, but yes. But y'all compete, though.
You want to be relevant in golf so bad, Sean. You can't even beat me.
Yeah.
But man, Trent's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think one of the more important things too is a God-fearing man. And that's something that was became a part of my life. More importantly, I mean, the first time I really went to church when I was in Winter Park in high school, it was with Trent, and we would just go to church. And I'm not saying I would stay up the whole time. Sometimes I was falling asleep, but he took me that he took me to church. So I love that guy. I'm super happy for him and everything that he's accomplished in his career.
And so the connection University of Miami, that allowed OA to expand there. We have interns there. Interns is truly a critical part of the work of OA. I like to say our team is small but mighty. But individuals like yourself, Aisha, Monica, the list goes on and on. But interns have played such a key role. And so you have gone through the internship program, you support it throughout the years. Can you speak to how being part of OA helped you in your professional career?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind is relationships. And, I learned very much, being within Orange Arrow. And do you want me to just speak from the intern standpoint? Because I got to, yeah,
Where
yeah,
you want to
yeah. So
go? Yeah.
I got to, volunteer, intern, and became a program manager. Very quickly I learned, the importance of relationships and how that can impact people and how that can impact your own business. So I think, the first thing was building relationships. I would say even from getting to see behind the curtains and how to manage a business, how to manage a business, how to manage a nonprofit organization. I think I would say that my entrepreneurial spirit really increased being a part of Orange Arrow, because I got to see, you actually have a big responsibility, and you kind of have a lot, you allow a lot of at least you allowed a lot of visibility for me to see the operations and things that are going on. And so it made it more like I can envision being an entrepreneur more working in Orange Arrow. Um, and I would just say, just from like an organizational standpoint, having responsibility. I mean, at the time I was a student athlete. I'm sure I was responsible, to be a student athlete. Obviously, you have to have some level of responsibility, but to then be able to translate that and do it in a different capacity, uh, and to have, a responsibility to go to this site and work with these kids and meet with these individuals, a principal or assistant principal. Hey, we need to develop this part of the program. Can you do that? We need it at this time. Like all those small things, teach you the discipline and responsibility that translate into a career, once you're done playing sports, and helps you. I mean, even when you are playing sports, it's just kind of nurturing those qualities, those skills. So, I think I developed a lot of the skills that I use today, part being from being a part of Orange Arrow.
Super dope. And as we close, I mentioned this earlier, you truly embody what it means to be more than an athlete. But can you answer that question? Why is it important for a student to be successful outside of their sport?
You know, every day there's an athlete that, is done playing sports. It comes for everybody. No matter how good you are, eventually it's going to happen for LeBron James, and he has had a stellar career. Doesn't matter who you are, whether it's in high school, whether it's in college, that day comes to all of us. And so I think it's important. I know it's important that while you're playing sports, you strive to be successful outside of sports, even small wins. Um, because when you're done playing sports, you can use those skills you learned from all those small wins and transition into your new career. The problem is, if you don't focus on trying to have success outside of sports, when you're done playing, whatever that is, you won't have the skills, you won't have the confidence to be able to transition. Your identity has been warped into just playing sports, and you don't have the small successes that give you the confidence and the skills to transition outside of sports. So I think it's critical to seek success outside and to have success outside of sports. Absolutely.
Rob, man, I'm proud of you, boss. I'm proud of the man who you are, the man that you're becoming, man. You're married now, so you have a beautiful family, man. And I'm glad you're thriving in your career, man. OA family for life, dog. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, appreciate you, Sean. OA forever.
Take aim.
Yep.